So that time I had to confirm twice. And it's yellow, but it went through it. So that was actually good. It went through it because it was just turning yellow. So that was the right move. Up here sometimes it does, yeah, it kind of curves back and forth like it wants to get in that turn lane there, which is not the correct behavior. It used to do it a lot worse, so they've improved upon that a little bit, but it still does tend to swerve into that turn lane a little bit before correcting itself. That is one update I would really like to have once we do get version 11 of the software for Tesla. Waypoints, that would be very helpful for not only for this testing, but obviously for any road trip. It's nice to have waypoints if you want to, just for example, stop at a particular restaurant or whatever it may be, destination along the route. Alright, can't handle this intersection. No. Tends to want to get into the right lane there. Yeah. Yep, I don't know. I don't think it was worth braking that hard and freaking out, but the guy did pull out in front of us, sort of, so could have just slowed down a little bit. And of course it does stop at stop signs as well, so just like the lights, and I can just confirm the stock, and then it goes through an intersection. Handles that really nicely, so I really do like that. Now I gotta get out of this turn lane. That worked out good too. Alright, so it's handling a lot of those lane changes really well. So there it is again, kind of dipping into that turn lane. Shouldn't be doing that. So far, no no updates that I can tell from this autopilot or software release, or no updates to autopilot, I should say, from this software release. They don't ever tell you what those minor improvements and bug fixes are. So it's really just, if you happen to notice it, then great. If not, well, who knows? I'm sure they fixed something, but could have been just, you know, some little bug in the menu somewhere. And I like how up here it is trying to cut off this corner here. That is totally fine, although when you get up to this intersection there's a light. So it's a lot easier to turn with this light than it is to turn right here because there is no light. So I'm actually interested to see, once we do get that FSD beta, if it decides to do the same route like this. This is a much more difficult left-hand turn here than it would be if you just went to the intersection. So interesting choice. I don't think it saves you much time either, unless the traffic's backed up a lot. Alright, so I can't engage autopilot on this street because there are not well-marked lane lines. Here's some lane lines. Okay, as soon as it sees those lane lines, it's able to engage the autopilot. It's pretty poorly marked, but you can see the lines a little bit here. And hopefully stop at this stop line. Yes. And it will not go through this intersection. So without much traffic, that's not a bad turn, but if there's a bunch of traffic, that is going to be a much more difficult left-hand turn to do than just doing it at the light. So odd choice, but whatever. This road actually, because it's a highway, divided highway, you can actually increase the max speed to whatever you want. Well, I take that back. 90 is the maximum speed you can set it to, but obviously I don't want to go 90. Just want to go 5 over. But because this is a divided highway, you can actually set the autopilot to whatever speed you want, just like you can on the interstate, up to 90 miles per hour. 90 miles per hour is the maximum speed that autopilot will be engaged for. So, in case you were thinking about doing an autopilot trip at 100 miles per hour, can't do it. All right, so that loop was 19.2 miles, so that's not too bad. So the loop took, well, it actually, let's see, I've been recording for 39 minutes, so that's since I was sitting in the driveway. So the loop took about 39 minutes is what it was, a little bit less than that, and it was 19.2 miles. And we averaged 242 watt hours per mile, which again, the car wasn't warmed up, so that wasn't very good, but obviously it came down significantly from where we started. So definitely something to track, and I would be curious to see what the efficiency is actually versus doing it with autopilot or doing it without autopilot, because I'm not sure that autopilot is actually the most efficient as far as taking off from a stop or slowing down, that sort of thing. So not sure if that's actually the most efficient way to do it, but regardless. So that is the loop I think we'll try to use for FSD testing, as well as the efficiency for city driving. Again, it's a lot of stop and go. No matter what you do, that's going to be, less efficient than just a steady state. Like if you were going to go steady state 45 miles per hour, for example, that would be very efficient. But stopping and going and all that stuff, that's, it's all over the board. So, all right, so there it was. We did the loop. We went 19.2 miles, so that wasn't too bad. It was close to 20. Maybe I will try to do a little bit longer drive maybe in the future. It took us about 40 minutes to do the 20 miles, or 19 miles, I should say. So, it's, you're averaging about 30 miles per hour, which sounds about right. That's definitely city driving. It's not as efficient as, just like I said, steady state. You're going to be a lot more efficient and that sort of thing. I also think this is a pretty good test. I did have a roundabout, a lot of different intersections there to test for that full self-driving beta, which hopefully we will be getting soon. I really want to get it for Christmas. That would be awesome. Please, Elon, release it, wide release for Christmas. That would be fantastic. I don't know, maybe the world's not ready for it. It's definitely getting closer. I can tell from a lot of the videos that I've been watching for all those lucky folks out there that have gotten the FSD beta and are testing it very thoroughly. It's looking a lot better. So that's very exciting, and I really think that it's pretty close to being ready for the prime time. But we'll see. Maybe they will try to roll it out a little bit more piecemeal than just rolling it all out at the same time. Maybe confirm through intersections, or I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but really excited to get my hands on that. So stay tuned for that, and let me know what you think about this route. If you think this route is a good one for the city streets testing for efficiency, as well as whether you think that it is a good test for the FSD beta, or if there's maybe some other things that you think autopilot should be tested on once we do get some more of that functionality. As you can see from this test, it was very helpful to have autopilot for all of the stretches where it was just going through the intersections and that sort of thing. Like if it's just going straight through an intersection, or it's just going on the road, straight on a road, it does great. I mean, it keeps the lane really well. There's just a few times when maybe it'll dip into a turn lane or something like that, but overall it does really well, and it keeps its distance from the car in front of you in all those cases, and it stops at stop signs, stops at red lights, and it stops at green lights too if you don't confirm. But again, it's very good because it's paying attention when you're not paying attention. So if you get distracted for just a little second when you might have otherwise been able to get in an accident, autopilot is actually watching your back in those scenarios. So that is great. It is very helpful, and it improves the safety a lot. And that's why, like I said before, the safety of autopilot is one of the best selling features of autopilot. So it's actually been proven that when the car is engaged in autopilot, it's much less likely to get in an accident. So very excited to see what we get in the future, and just let me know in the comments below if you think there's any changes we need to do to that route, or anything that you'd like to see tested on it. And as always, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.